Before we start the video, though, make sure you check out in the description below my Wattpad, Instagram, and check out my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoy and you want to see more content like this. I got a bunch of other story things planned, and if this goes up before my audiobook starts going up, I am making an audiobook version of my my book on Wattpad. I am dancing around my microphone right now. Hold on. Okay, so I had to remove my pop filter because it was causing it to be too quiet. So today I have for you guys 2 true horror stories that happened while I was younger, like during my early childhood. So the first one happened back when I was like in 5th grade. Back then, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders at my church, we are all in the same Sunday school class. Our class sponsored this kid in Haiti named Lucas, and he was like a year older than me, if memory serves. Maybe a few days, I don't remember exactly. But, there was a picture of him in the classroom, and every week we'd talk about him and pray for him. And the teachers would always, give us updates on how he was doing, and, we'd, just kind of talk about him like he was a long distance friend, and the teachers would always have kids volunteer to pray. It's a super odd detail, but it's important for later. At one point there was this like really bad hurricane, like category like 5 hurricane that was going straight for Haiti, right? So we were praying. There's this really bad hurricane that was going straight for Haiti, so we were praying like constantly, like, God, please keep Lucas safe. And the hurricane hit Haiti in the middle of the week, and when we went to church that Sunday, the teacher skipped talking about Lucas at the beginning and prayed herself, which was really unusual, and she skipped him in the prayer. She didn't pray for him at all. Being the 8-year-olds we're still practically fetuses, so we didn't put 2 and 2 together, because then the next week, his picture was off the wall, and we just kind of stopped talking about him after that. Which, this is a true story. So the teachers would always avoid the question if we asked to. We'd be like, hey, what happened to Lucas? And they'd be like, is that a new shirt, Linda? And the kid would be like, my name's not Linda. No, you've known me since I was like 4. Why? Did you have a stroke, Brenda? Diane, Brenda's having a stroke. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that now. So, like, we were 8, like I said, we were like 8 at the time, so we didn't put 2 and 2 together, and, we were, like, still basically fetuses with legs. So, well, not fetuses, like, we were essentially sperm with legs, but, we did not think, like, matured. I mean, we still don't, but, it wasn't until, well, yeah, like I said, somehow we didn't put 2 together, but it wasn't until a few years later, which was, I think, about a year or 2 ago, there was a junior high and high school youth group at the church, and we were all sitting there, ironically enough, playing Dungeons & Dragons in that same, classroom. And I looked up to where the spot where his picture once hung, and I was like, hey, you guys remember Lucas, the sponsor kid? And like, my friend Jonathan was like, yeah, whatever happened to him? And we're like, I don't know. And I was like, didn't a hurricane hit? And then we just and we all just paused and looked at each other, and we had that realization moment of like, oh, yeah, we still really don't know what happened, but we do suspect that he didn't survive the hurricane because there was no reason to stop funding him so suddenly. We had the funds, we were able to do it, we loved doing it, and then we just kind of stopped after that. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, yeah. So our second/last horror story here is a little bit of a longer one. So I live, for those of you who don't know, I live in a small town where everybody knows everything about everyone. Someone has, I don't even know, like, someone breaks an arm and everyone shows up at their house with a casserole, except for not really, because everyone secretly hates each other. But, Okay, let's try this again. All right. I live in a small town. Okay, let's try this again. For those of you who don't know, I live in a small town where everybody pretty much knows everything about everyone all the time. So back when I was in kindergarten, they had us use hand sanitizer like incessantly, like crazy. And, okay. So for those of you who don't know, I live in a small town where everybody knows everything about everyone all the time. Back when I was in kindergarten, which was like, 10 years ago at this point? I don't know, I feel so old. They had us use hand sanitizer like crazy. And it wasn't just the kindergartners either. It was all the kids, all the way up to high school. And, all of the grades. So keep that in mind. Everyone, preschool to high school, using hand sanitizer incessantly. Like, between subjects. Like, we finished our math, put our math books away, hand sanitizer. And it was like a big squirt. And we all had really dry hands. So it was like burning our hands all the time. So we were always crying. And the teachers were like, suck it up. And I'm like, bitch, no. Like, seriously, they had us using hand sanitizer incessantly. Even the high schoolers, like, constantly. Every time we would stop and breathe, they'd be squirting hand sanitizer onto our hands. Like, you stop moving, they squirt hand sanitizer in your face, essentially. So, on top of that, which I didn't know until my mom brought it up recently in a car ride when we were discussing this, apparently, which I do remember this happening. Ow, I just hit my tripod. Apparently, I do remember this happening. It was so buried in my memory that I forgot about it. Okay, so they had us use, like, Clorox wipes, like the disinfectant wipes, on our hands as, like, hand wipes. And it specifically says on the package, do not use on human or animal skin because it will destroy the skin. It is not meant for your skin. Like, and what I don't understand is Clorox wipes cost more than regular hand wipes. So, like, this is the school that's so broke that they charge parents $50 to be part of the PTA, aka be a part of their kid's life. Like, this school is so broke that they can't afford their own crayons. But yet they be passing out free breakfast and using Clorox wipes to wipe away the kids' immune systems, basically. Like, half the kids who were in my grade ended up with, like, no immune systems because of this. Like, they couldn't fight germs. Even with vaccines. Like, I am vaccinated. And, like, they just couldn't do it. Like, they were always sick. I wasn't sick that often, though, because I had a free pass because I'm allergic to Clorox wipes. But they itch really, really bad. And this school is so broke that they charge parents $50 a month to be part of the PTA, aka be a part of their kid's life, and somehow they can afford to pay like $10 a thing for Clorox wipes. I don't know how, but they do, and they don't even need them. Like, they're killing the, So, but get this. They did a study that finished about 2/3 of the way into my kindergarten year, and they discovered that a certain kind of hand sanitizer, which is the kind that the school was using, caused childhood brain cancer and autism when used in large amounts, incessantly. And after that, they stopped using the hand sanitizer for good, and we always wash our hands instead. Remember, they had been doing this for years with all of the grades. And I'll get to why that's important here in a second. But that's not the end of the story, folks. No. Strap yourselves in with your tinfoil hats, because crap's about to get weird. So, the cancer thing wouldn't be so bad if we didn't have 3 kids going to the same school, around the same age, who had freaking brain cancer that developed at the same age. And there were even more kids. There were 3 kids with cancer. There were 3 more kids with autism. From this, they were all the same age. Okay, so the kids with cancer was a girl and 2 boys. Unfortunately, they all passed within the same year, which was a few years ago. They lost their battle with cancer about the same time, like within the same few months. I feel really bad for the families. But I'm not going to say their names for safety reasons and privacy reasons. So I'll call the boys A1 and A2, and the girl will be Z, because both the boys, ironically enough, have the same name. So that's kind of the running joke, is don't name your kid that one name because they will get cancer. I'm sorry, that's really, really crapped up, but... Okay, so... And also, the autism kids passed away at the same age as the others. They were all, they all passed away about the same year. It was very, very unfortunate, very hard for our town, because they had been doing so well, and then they just kind of crashed. But here's the thing. I'm not going to really talk that much about the autism kids, because that doesn't really matter right now, right? Okay, so what matters is the cancer kids. And you know what is crazy here? So the cancer kids all were older than me, and all developed the cancer around the same age, when they would have had a specific amount of exposure to the certain chemical that was causing the brain cancer, right? And they all died at around the same age, right? They all developed it around the same age. They all died around the same age. But wait, it gets even better, okay? The school would hold events to, like, raise awareness, with air quotes, for these kids, like a pajama day. They called ZZZs for the girl whose name started with a Z. And I kid you not, they charged like $15 for kids to wear their pajamas to school. And you're probably thinking, yeah, great, for the family to get treatment. No. These families went to St. Jude. They always had us donated to St. Jude and stuff for these kids. So I still somehow have a drawstring backpack from that. But, like, this event was just to raise awareness. There are hundreds of kids going to the school, might I add. The school district kept the money. The school district kept the money from this event to raise awareness from this girl, for this girl's cancer. Like, how can you be such a cruel human being? Like, oh, and by the way, there haven't been any more kids who have developed cancer since they stopped using the hand sanitizer. Cancer and autism free now. Just gonna put that out there for you so y'all know. And if you want to hate this crappy school district even more, so they told the parents they had to buy, like, a whole bunch of specific kinds of supplies, which were all super expensive school supplies. They all had to be, like, certain colors, certain shapes, certain sizes, all that sort of thing. And, do you know what they did when we walked into the classroom for the first day of school? They just put it all in a bin in the back so it would be free range for everyone, right? So if someone runs out of glue, they just go to the bin in the back and take, your fancy $50 glue stick that your parents paid for from Gucci for you because they love you and they want to spoil you. But no, the kid who bullies you and calls you a fat ass when you're not gets that, like... You put it in a pile in the back so that when someone else needs it, they can just go and get what your parents paid for. And sometimes kids will come in and their parents, like, I know their parents had money because they had cell phones. Like, they had the newest iPhones and stuff. But they didn't have the extra school supplies. You know why? Because their parents were on the school board and they didn't have to. Or... because the kids just simply didn't want to comply with the rules, right? Or the parents didn't want to comply with the rules. There were a few times where the parents lied about their financial situation so they didn't have to do it too. But, okay, so they didn't even tell the parents that's what they do. They just said, here, buy all the school supplies and then send it all with your kid to school. And, like, they had you get, like, 20 folders and you used, like, 2 the whole school year. Like, Like, when I told my mom, she didn't even believe it at first. She was like, oh, yeah, funny story, honey. And I was like, no, I'm serious, Mom. I could show you the spot in the back of the classroom. So then when she figured out it was real, like, she called some of the other parents, and they were all crazy pissed. Like, they were, like, on the verge of, like, suing the school district pissed. Like, there have been so many other things. Like, this school district just sucks. Like, it's worse than, like, Chicago and Arizona school systems. But, like, okay, so the parents would be buying, like, really nice school supplies for the kid, thinking it was theirs. And, like, that special folder that they bought for their kid, that had their favorite character on it, Yeah, you know that kid who bullies them? Who calls them words that I can't say on YouTube without getting demonetized, right? Like the F word, right? That kid goes and gets that folder. And you can't do anything about it because, quote, you get what you get and you don't throw it. I've had this happen to me. I had that happen to me before. Kids are jerks. Like, yeah, you know that special set of pencils you got them for Christmas? Oh, no, they're not allowed to have that. They have to put it in the basket of pencils in the back of the room for anybody to take. And if you fight with them, if you fight with the teacher about it, the teacher will take them away and you'll never see them again. I've had this happen to me. I've had to hide things in my desk because I was afraid the teacher would steal them from me. Like, this is literally taking candy from like you're robbing children of the things that make them happy in a situation where they cannot be happy. This is torture. Why are we allowing this? Why is this legal? Oh, like, you know, that 1,000 crayon pack that you had to buy, you had to buy in order to send them to school, right? They had us dump those in a basket in the back of the room, and then anybody could just take what they want. And then at the end of the school year, they would throw them out. And 1,000 pack of crayons is not cheap. Under any it is not cheap. They're like $30, depending on the brand. Like if it's Crayola's the best. Fight me. That's like $30 just gone. Like, we don't live in a communist nation. We shouldn't have to put up with this kind of crap. Like, there are just so many rants that I could go on about how much the school district sucks. But I'll have to make that into a different video because it doesn't really fit the theme of this one. So, in the end, do I think the school district is poisoning the kids to secure funding? Yes. Yes, I do. And this tinfoil hat is a fashion choice, not something to keep my brain safe from 5G. I'm kidding, just to be clear. This is a joke. Kind of. And they say Chicago public schools are desperate. Meanwhile, the rest of the Midwest is killing children to meet their financial needs. Conspiracy time. And this is one of the reasons why I'm homeschooled now, by choice.